All right. Good afternoon, Worlds Collide community. Thank you for joining us for this exciting Tonic A showdown between Nani Gray and John Burkhead. We're down to the last week. We're in a winner takes all situation for second place here. And joining me is Drinks Glue and Dwyer in the booth. Um, so we're just going to let them take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Papa. Sorry, I was busy there, letting people know that Yamaro's slander will not be tolerated this afternoon. But anywho, we are super excited today. We got Nani Gray, we got John Burkhead, fantastic runners. Nani, you may know from our Google Cup. John Burkhead, you may know from various other randomizers, which he is very good at. But let me also introduce my co-commentator tonight that I am blessed to be in here with. Dwaya, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. It's always good to be back in here with you again. And as a fellow tonic runner, I just want to say I am so glad that I am not in their pod because they are putting out some great times.
Yeah. Yes, they are, and they have very graciously allowed us to take their Week 8 run, their finale for Ultros League Season 7, and showcase them on the restream. Papa Shango is also their Tonic A division mate, and he is also very eager about what is about to transpire on the screen, aren't you, my friend?
Well, yep, absolutely.
All right, so we'll give the runners a moment here just to gather themselves and get going. We just gave them the 1 minute warning, in fact. So, Joya, this is our second restream together in almost 12-ish hours. What are you looking to see tonight? Or, excuse me, this afternoon?
Oh, well, if you're asking me kind of the same question you asked me last night about what happens with the starting characters and their starting routes, it's going to be the same answer. I'm going to be looking for loot to get me off the ground, to get that offense going, and then I think I'm just going to run it and send it because this race is kind of important. Whoever takes this first place is guaranteed the second place position in the pod, which means they are going to move up to potion.
Yep, very true. So, stakes don't get much higher than this. Papa Shango, as I mentioned, is one of their Tonic Head runners, and he has a little insight to the seed, obviously, because he's already ran it. So, we are starting with a Terra, Edgar, and Realm start. That's a pretty fantastic start. You got some big sword wielders. You got a great opening check. You got, Realm, and I heard she's good at magic, has a high magic stat. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll research that one day, but my goodness, what a start.
Absolutely. Yeah, that Terra starts really nice. You get that early sealed gate check with that loot in Imperial camp, in the Imperial base. Yeah, you can't ask for anything better other than maybe having luck with them.
Yeah, all right, so runners are off and going. Again, Terra, Edgar, Realm. We got Dance, Blitz, and Health. What do you think about those abilities, Dwaya?
You know, health is nice because it really kind of protects you early on. Blitz on, was it Terra? Yeah, Terra. Um, you can do a lot with that. And of course, if we find a big stick, Edgar's there and he can just forget about dance.
Yeah, Blitz is a fantastic source of single target damage early on, whether it's Orbital, whether it's Pummel. It kind of falls off a little farther you go, and then it picks up, above and beyond if you happen to get to level 42 and are still reliant on it with Bum Rush. But oh my goodness, that was a
Wow.
steel wall in one of the chests, and my goodness, you love to see it. You don't see enough Super Balls in Ultras League these days, and we're gonna see it today.
So with that Super Ball fight, uh, what are you thinking about like a real early dragon play just to get those levels off the ground?
Yeah, most definitely. With a very fortunate roll, depending, it's gonna depend too on what our scaling shakes out to, because we do have access to two, possibly three free checks with Edgar, Terra, and then Zen Thief. Depending on how those shake out, we could very comfortably, rely on a Super Bowl to A, either kill a dragon outright, or B, cover most of the HP pool for a dragon at level 3, and that's just a huge boost. It takes your most dangerous fight you gain your opening fight, and just kind of throws it out the window and covers it for you almost.
Absolutely. Now I also saw that we looted a rage ring and a pearl rod between the two runners. So that's, if Terra can wear that Rage Ring and get that Vigor boost, that's going to be nice for that early game pummel.
Yeah. And then, if you wanted to push that aggressive dragon with that Super Ball, if the Super Ball doesn't quite cover it, that Pearl Rod will more than enough make up for it as long as you are not fighting the White Dragon. Another thing with that Super Ball, if you do by chance get a low roll, if you do something like the Opera Dragon and you are willing to save outside, if you get a low roll, just reset and give it another try. See if you get a better roll. It's much faster than going back in and trying to stay on through the fight and ticking away with 200 damage pummels and whatnot.
Absolutely, and those are Pearl Rods for sale in looks like World of Balance Albrook.
Ooh, very nice. So John is making his way through the sealed gate. This is one of Terra's checks. That is a cat hood. You love to see an early cat hood.
Oh, yes.
No, anywho, John is making his way through the returner's gate. The sealed gate. Genji glove in there. I think that's a second Genji glove. That's a lot of gloves, but anywho, pivotal moment here. He's going in there first. Nani is going a little off different path here, and that's an experience egg. That's a this is a this sealed cave is something.
Yeah, no kidding. Now, Nani Gray's gonna get that.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be too much time that John's gonna have it over Nani Gray, so I don't think it's gonna make a huge difference, but man, you'd love to see that early on.
Most definitely. Um, Being Gao at the end of this, it is a little. So Nani is in good for a good time when they make their way for that sealed gate, especially when they find Gao. Let's see if Nani goes there first. But John does have a little bit of a slight advantage here for knowing that, hey, now I have 4 minutes of knowledge of that. This is potentially the seed is potentially going to give me some gas, and what do I do with it? Whereas Nani is just about to figure out that information. So John may be able to, not do things like Albrook or never mind, he goes right to Albrook. What am I talking about?
I mean, it's like he heard you. Now, interesting on that Gao. That is not a useless Gao. He's got jump, which means he's, whatever weapon you put on him, he's going to be able to do some damage with. And if they find a Dragon Horn, hey, that Gao's going to be jumping all over the place.
Most definitely. Gao has fantastic stats. He is just limited by his equipment pool, which is almost non-existent from the various vanilla pieces of equipment you can wear. But with the right shuffle and the right ability, Gao becomes arguably an S tier character in your party immediately.
Absolutely. Nani's going to go through their sealed gate and get the wonderful surprise at the end of both the egg and Gao, while John is going to do some early shopping with Edgar at the lead of the party to get the discounts on the shops, I'm guessing, along with what's on the throne.
Now, Dwayne, with an Edgar start, how do you like? So, everybody at some point in time will end up in Walter and South Figure to take advantage of that discount that Edgar allows the party to have. How do you like to route that visit to Walter and South Figure to take advantage of that discount?
Well, interestingly enough, I like to route it, especially with the Terra Edgar start. I like to route it right after Sealed Gate by flipping over to World of Ruin, doing the World of Ruin Albrook for that extra little check down on the dock, and then kind of zipping, hopefully very safely, up to South Figaro to loot and get the discount.
Yeah, I think it's really, I think it's really great to like kind of have that visit like either middle towards the end of your looting route. That way, when you show up there, you have a little bit of money in your back pocket. So let's say you get there and you find earrings, you find all the consumables you want, and then you find something like fire rods in the shops. If you only have a few thousand, you can't really take advantage of that. So you gotta kind of go somewhere else or go to the basement and then come back, um, which is it's just fine. It's a slight time convenience, but when you're playing against players like Nani and John Burkhead and they're versus each other, those little routing, that's little intricacies like that, little things where you can save time here and there. Those type of things that add up when you start facing these cowboy runners.
You're absolutely right. This is not a great fight for Nani at the ninja spot in Sealed Gate, just because we don't have a lot of area of effect damage right now, and that exploder is nasty.
No, I do like this peak. Nani has done a little walking around, but unfortunately, they don't have something like an ice rod because this is a very lucrative fight. We just don't have a super fast way to get through it with all the single target blitz and plasma going on with our dances. Right,
John's
so
going to be doing a little shopping in World of Balance, South Figaro.
nothing wrong with that. Fortunately, we found that egg. We found that gal. I don't think we found dried meat yet, and we haven't found a big sword or a big sword we can buy yet. Dwaya, who would you put that egg on right now in your party currently?
You know, right now, and I don't know if this is the right answer or not, I would put it on that Terra just because I'm going to be thinking of that bum rush later on, and if that's what I'm going to aim for, I want to get there as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's a pretty good choice right there. I would concur. Just also getting access to Aura Bolt pretty fast gives you a nice tier 2 type spell that's, doesn't cost MP. Or an ability that is similar to a tier 2 type spell that's not going to cost you any MP is a good way to get going. John is making his World of Ruin South Figaro check here, our visit here with his Edgar, and yeah, let's see. This could be very telling on what the seed has in store for us, what we find here.
Well, we've got really cheap earrings, not to mention the one that we found for free in a crate.
It always feels good when you find the earrings here with the discount. It's always awkward when you find them like in Narsh for full price, and you're always like, do I buy them now or do I wait and maybe risk it? And oh my goodness, that's an Atma weapon.
That is an Atma weapon. So we've got a big stick user, we've got a blitz user, and then if we can get some magic online, you've got an in-game party with those 3 people right there.
Yes, indeed. Nani found the good news that the experience egg and the seed is right in their face, and they got it. Now they got their gal as well.
There's an ice shield, and we've also found a flame shield. So that's some nice early magic too right there.
100%. Yeah, so things are, oh my goodness, and we got dried meat. That is very crucial to Gal. I heard Gal likes dried meat. I think it's like his whole gimmick, but whatever. So that gives us obviously access to Gal's belt check, another free check that's guaranteed to be an Esper or an item. So things are humming along very nicely so far for the seed.
Absolutely. Now, if this was me and I was running this, that's ice shields too. Well,
oh my goodness. I'll tell you what. I wish this was me right about now because I'll take discount ice shields every day and twice on a Monday afternoon.
Absolutely. And a snow muffler from the Zen Thief on Nani Gray's side. Okay, so anyway, what I was gonna say after seeing that shock of cheap ice shields, so my play right here would be I would do Velt, and then I would do the Trench just to try to get those grind fights because we've got our scaling isn't high right now because we've only found 1 character with the dead checks being the rest. But that would be my play. What about you, Glue?
I would definitely, belt in the trench, especially with those ice shields. If those ice shields were not there and you come across one, it's a much more difficult decision to say, hey, my first fight in the trench, it's like chimeras or something that an ice shield would solve, but do I want to hold on to it? Knowing where they are and how cheap they are, also knowing where a cat hood is back in Albrook, you can easily end up in a situation where you're breaking over a dozen ice shields in the seed. So yeah, definitely the trench, definitely with the willingness to dispose of those ice shields for any type of time save situation. And once you get out of that trench, ideally that experience egg ware is going to be, anywhere from 12 to 18 levels, as long as you're not getting really, really trolly with your encounters in there. So this is a pretty good start because 12 to 18 is where stuff can start to really take off for you.
For sure. So now we've got Nani Gray looting South Figaro, World of Ruin. And I'm going to guess that John is probably going to take off now and start doing his other checks.
Yeah, he's taking his party down to 3 members. Looks like he's going to go... no, that's not... No, Snow Muffler's all the rage. It must be in a fashion magazine or something. Or maybe when someone on TikTok, a trendy TikToker, style enthusiast, threw it on. So that's why John Burkett's going to go get his one as well. Nani seeing the double ice shields, probably a weird feeling, maybe a little deja vu there for them.
Yeah. Well, you know, snow mufflers, it is that time of the year. You want to be nice and warm, right?
Well, I live in Texas, so it was cold this week, and I say cold, and it was like in the high 40s, which is like practically snowing a blizzard for me. But I imagine in other parts of the world, you would a snow muffler would come in handy for you.
Yes, very true.
All right,
Send some of
Nani.
that warmer weather my way, please.
So I'd imagine John now with his snow muffler, his three-person party is going on over to the Velt. Can't imagine him going anywhere else. Yep, there he goes. All right, so we still don't have an Esper though, and Espers are honestly probably the greatest source of early power that you can come across. So hopefully, hopefully this isn't like one of those things where it's a Strago, which is cool. You found the other character now, but doesn't do you much good in the short term. So hopefully this is an Esper that teaches something besides a tier 2 spell for our runners.
And that experience egg is going on Terra.
Nice.
Now, the nice thing about John's Velt is it's only going to be Lobos. He did not take that bomb fight in Sealed Gate. So he should have a much easier time of this without that pesky bomb ring showing up.
Very true. Yeah, so Lobos, if Lobos give you trouble, you should maybe reconsider signing up for the mentor program, but Lobos should go down in 1 or 2 strikes here no matter what. And now it's just a matter of 1 to those 5/8 chance of the reward showing up for your hit. And for John, it's on turn number 1.
Ooh, you'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's
And-
going to be an Esper.
And you'd love to see that even more.
All right, so
Now we're going to see him form up his party and hopefully see what that Raiden does.
yeah, Raiden's actually not a bad Esper, just for the ability alone, especially when you're about to come here and do the grind fights. The summon MP is a little high, but it is one of those scenarios where you could maybe tincture up on the last fight if your experience egg user has enough levels to summon it, and then that usually has a get out of jail free card for the 3rd or 4th fight in here.
Well, Gao can at least wear that Aegis shield, so he'll be safe.
And only breaking Osmos, but magic power +1. I have not confirmed this, but Realm is, supposedly magic power and Realm go hand in hand. Or maybe that's strength, maybe I'm confusing the two. But anywho, magic power +1 Realm, so that will be a nice little boost to her throughout the seed.
And now we're going to get to see what kind of trench this is going to be. What's lurking in the depths?
Yeah, last night we saw, I think it was double Gigantos, triple Acrophos, all types of goodies down here, and this is a good one right here. This is a Revivify and some free levels. That is a fantastic opening fight, and Naughty getting that 6 bomb encounter again. That's okay, the next one will be a level here for them.
Not only that, but it was a back attack, so there was not even a point of trying to kill it.
That's a question from some guy named Possum in the chat. Would you consider putting the Aegon on the Realm here for the first few levels? Absolutely. So throughout the course of your seed, the percentage of experience you get from these first handful of fights shrinks with time. So it's not uncommon while this experience, this belt pushes, or excuse me, this trench pushes up to higher levels to get us going. But the total experience we get may be, less than 10% total throughout the entire seed that we're going to receive. And that actual value, maybe when we're later on in the seed, may only be enough that we're missing out on a Terra or Edgar. May only be enough to turn them like from level 45 to 46, whatever, which isn't enough. But having that realm with like an extra 7 or 8 magic power and her being level 17 instead of 12 could potentially be a huge boon for some of the tougher fights like a Poltergeist or a Guardian with whatever tier 2 spell she may learn or whatnot off of the shield she has equipped. And that could alone save you a few minutes with her being able to power through a tougher fight alone.
And this is why we look to you for all that knowledge, Glue. That was a good little bit of info right there.
Well, that's why they paid me the big bucks. Papa Shango, we'll renegotiate my contract here maybe after this, after that comment, my friend. But yeah, John's coming on through the trench. Nani has finally got the good news that there's an Esper in store for them. It's going to be a Magic Power Plus Esper as well.
You're getting some love in chat there, Glue.
Flattery will get you everywhere with me, Possum. Right,
We
well-
have a Pluto armor and skycap here in the trench. Funny how these mechanical things can be underwater, but we're not going to question that too much.
Yeah, I'm, that Air Force, I was thinking about this the other day, but like, how you're playing through and you're flying to the floating continent, and out of the blue, the returner's like, oh no, it's the Imperial Air Force, right? And you're like, wait, when did the Empire get an Air Force? Like, wouldn't they use that when they attacked Doma? Like, if 2 of those skycaps go over the Doma, right? Like, the fight's over. You don't have to poison the water. You don't have to do anything. That's it. Doma's conquered Doma's siege, and I know it works out in the Empire's favor in other ways, but you're like, where's this Air Force the entire time?
Okay, but we also have to take into consideration that Kefka's crazy, and the chaos is what he wants to hear.
Yeah, I guess it makes too much sense for that guy.
Yeah, we don't question this too much, and that is a level magic fight that you definitely don't want.
No, like even the level 50 magic that you can revivify, it's not worth it because if he gets a break off or something else that's nasty, it's really unfortunate. Nani is fading the trench. They're fighting Strago, which is not a great character. But speaking of great characters, that is Yamaro at the end of Serpent Trench for John Brickhead. So, in my personal unbiased opinion, John Brickhead is final Kefka ready now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Yeti didn't go straight in the party.
I'm shocked too. But maybe John, he at least gets a second snow muffler. Could have had more, but you take which with you have your own thoughts and opinions, and they're allowed to differ for me.
Yeah, you might want to have a talk with him after this, by the way.
We will. That's some thunder and ice rods in this Nakia shop. Those are fantastic finds. He's gonna pass on them some now. He didn't want to part with those Gingy gloves. No shame in that. Nothing wrong with that. Little mega elixir action there as well. So maybe we'll come back later for those for the final fight.
We got Ultros on Nani Gray's side, and I just saw them throw a Super Ball out.
Yeah.
Giving the old octopus a bonk on the head with it.
Yeah, I believe that was a vanilla Ultros. Maybe we forgot to randomize Realms check, so we got Chatternook and Houser's as well, I guess.
That just means I would fade Houser's real quick.
Ooh, that's a Sword Tech Strago. Sword Tech, a fantastic ability, but Strago, an awful character. And turns out one doesn't overwrite the other, so Nani's gonna pass on him.
Old man never gets no love.
So John's gonna find out the bad news that Strago's running around the mountain. Oh, I thought he was gonna pass on the Strago. I was like, maybe that man, maybe John despises Strago more than me, but apparently he does not. Nani's gonna pivot on over, do some Hauser's action, following his opening characters checks. In the search, I assume Esper's. And John gets his Ultros fight, so little differentiating here. Nani fading that trench, going other routes, and more fire rods. Thank goodness, there's rods and shields everywhere here.
Now, since Nani did fade the trench and John didn't, John's got that Fire 2 magic, so it's going to definitely help speed up this Ultros fight a little bit.
He's doing his little thing, Ultros, where he buffs himself, so this fight is almost over. And that's an offering in World of Ruin Jador. I don't think we haven't gone to a shop or town where there hasn't been something amazing, whether it's ice shields, offerings, or rods. This is a very fortunate seed so far, no matter which way you go.
Yeah, I think I need to issue a formal complaint to Double Down about what kind of seeds he rolls for the different pods. Because I don't ever get that.
So, John seeing the Sortex Drago. Ooh, passing on Gal for the Sortex Drago. Well, you do have access to the Experience Egg, so you will unlock Sortex 6 at level 32 and Sortex 7 at level 44, and you were this early with an Experience Egg if you commit to it. Strago will probably get to level 44 unless you just go on a really unfortunate string of leader piranha type fights and the various checks you visit. But maybe some Sword Tech 6 action there is what he's aiming for, because
Yes. Now, it would actually be interesting if we found a cyan to open it up all the way.
Alright, John following up his string of recently found characters, getting some Yamaro action. This is pretty cool because this dragon will teach Realm another elemental spell if he wants to shuffle his shields around. And at this point in the season, with that magic power Esper plus Realm having elemental diversification, you start feeling pretty good. So you can take advantage of the very weaknesses of the bosses that you're going to come across, whether it's Fire 2 and Ice 2 or Fire 2 and Bolt 2. So while Nani is no slashed herself, they've unfortunately taken a little longer that Ultros fight. They haven't gotten that great experience that was in some of those belt fights, or some of the free experience with that black dragon fight and whatnot. So while progression-wise they're very similar, I would say John is carving out a nice little advantage for himself that's going to potentially snowball to a lead for him.
Yes. Now, John is taking a little bit of a risk here because he's at level 15. So if this is Doomgaze up here, it is going to be a wipe.
Very true. Let's see what's hiding in that Tritok crystal. All right, Dwayne, you tried your best, but it's just different. But that's okay. We probably have Ice 2 on multiple characters. Yep, and we have it on Terra. We have it on Edgar, so we are more than fine. That's also one of those things that where John's little maneuvering is kind of going to start a snowball for him. Ifrit is one of those fights where if you walk in here and he had to Aura Bolt or pummel his way through it, that's like 2 to 3 minutes that he takes on this fight that you just can't get back. But since he had Ice 2 from those Ice Shields, it's just a 2-turn fight. So really fortunate in the order of operations he is coming across his bosses so far.
You're very correct. And, I mean, even if he hadn't learned those Ice 2 spells, with those Ice Shields being cheap, he could have cracked one and finished it in one round.
Yeah, and you see on the other side of your screen, Nani has unfortunately run into number 128, who absorbs ice. So we have to do other things. We're relying on dance, relying on jump, which is gonna get us through the fight. It just takes a little bit longer because it's not an elemental weakness we can exploit, and it takes a number of more cycles that we just have to unfortunately live with. Right. Esper or item, because this is an imp for Nani here in Bowser's Mansion. Looks like John's going to take on the dragon here now. Yep, very nice. Ooh, that's Ramu.
I always like a dragon play.
Ooh, Blue Dragon.
Not this dragon, though.
Yeah, not this guy. We don't like this guy.
Yeah.
So one of the fortunate things about the Flame Shield, which, spoiler alert, if you wanted to play a guest who had the Flame Shield equipped, it's probably Edgar because he's laying on the ground now. Unfortunately, the Flame Shield makes you susceptible to 2 times damage, or water damage. Also makes you susceptible to Phoenix Downing the wrong character, apparently. So a little slip up there from John based on that Queen Sweep coming out, taking care of Edgar. Really fortunate with the Esper fight, but now just an unfortunate Blue Dragon fight here now for him.
I mean, this is a possible fight. He could throw out that Super Ball, if he has it. I'm pretty sure he looted it. Other than that, between Terra with her Aura Bolts and the Fire 2s coming out, it's a winnable fight.
He can definitely get through it. It's just, obviously, you'd rather not have Edgar take a nap on turn 1. You just have to spend a little bit of time getting him back up. But he's more than capable of getting through this fight.
And that was a nice landslide.
Yeah. How does landslide work, Dwaya?
Now, you're gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure, doesn't landslide take a percentage of the health away? Is that how that works?
That is cyclonic and various other attacks. Landslide is basically like flare with a very much faster animation. So landslide you can get on a couple of rages, and it could be obviously be on the dance list of dances in the dances pool. But it's just because it's RNG based, you can't always get it. But when you get it and you get those fortunate procs or those fortunate actions, it is really powerful and silly broken.
Ah, I'll make sure you get an extra bonus on your paycheck this year.
Ah, thank you.
No, no problem.
All right, so Figaro Figaro basement action for Nani. I guess Nani in the search of Espers is circling back through all of their starting characters. Nothing wrong with that. Plus, also maybe hoping to fade some of Strago's checks because Strago has some of the longer checks in the game. John is now making his way over to Umaro's Cave, and I don't think we've peaked the mountainside of World of Balanced, so we don't know if this is a character or not a character yet.
That's very true, but he's just going to go for it. He's going to go in blind. I'm guessing he's probably really hoping for an Esper, though.
Yeah, we got 6 characters. We got 2 Espers. We need to get 7 more Espers as we traverse through the various worlds, and this is going to be an Esper form. That's nice. Little Kefka action on the spaghetti in South Figaro basement, or excuse me, South Figaro castle basement.
That was a Golem Esper, by the way.
It's highly probable now that Nani having access to Strago may do a lot of other things before they ever consider touching the belt. So they may never, if this is the only readily available source of calmness protection, it's highly likely Nani never comes across it.
That would be unfortunate. At that point, you're really, really hoping to find that Finrear or a Life 3.
Yeah,
Or a Phantom if you really want to take risks.
Not super important now, but it'll be very much important maybe 30 to 40 minutes from now when our runners work their way through the final fight. Pinnacle action going on John Burkett's side. Let's see if Nani goes on to Ancient Castle. Nope, Nani said one stop is enough, or maybe they're going to the throne. Maybe they haven't done the throne yet.
Yeah, I don't think they have. So that means they might go back down to AC.
Ooh. I definitely think they're going to Ancient Castle now because I think that's the reason you would say this, so you can loop all of this together. You don't have to spend a minute and traveling to the castle in the other world. Unfortunately, it's just a flame shield, so we didn't miss out on much for a while there for Nani's side. But yeah, I definitely expect them to head on down into Ancient Castle now.
Yeah, because that's one of those checks that if you don't do it looped in with this, it's really hard to get back to. Ooh, nice Ice 3.
Ooh. Ice 3 we'll take every day and twice on a Monday afternoon. Right, so John did so we know there's offerings out there in a relic shop John may come across, but he's passed on monster in the boxes so far, so he is content with what he has. He's not going to search for the offering in the traditional ways, but if he does do Owsers and he continues his shop checks, he will come across it. But it looks like he's heard the good news that there's free stuff in the South Figaro Castle basement, and he's going to head down there himself. And
So that's interesting because we know that he found the Atma weapon. Would you, in his position, would you be checking monsters and boxes for that offering? Knowing you have that?
with the Agento, probably. I try to cut out RNG from some of my runs these days, and monster and box hunting kind of is at the end of the day RNG. But with the egg and toe and Atma, more than likely I would. If I was in Nani's position and I saw the offerings for sale, no way, Jose. But in John's position, and that also may be impacting. I know he passed on 2 in Narsh, but maybe this is also part of his thinking. Hey, there's 2 monster and boxes down here. Maybe I'll go ahead and commit and switch it. Revert and start taking some stabs at some and seeing if I can hit the lottery.
I would really be interested to know what's going through both of our runners' heads right now with what they've uncovered and where they think they're going to go.
Yeah, it looks like Nani wants to check some monster boxes, and that's I believe this is the second one they've done because they found the Telstar earlier. So this is Spectre. This is actually nice, but maybe not. I thought Nani had took Strago in, but Hyper Wrist is really nice for any potential Sword Tech 7 shenanigans later on. But if Nani, I had it backwards, Nani had passed in Strago as in John Brickhead's party.
Which, I mean, he might, he might be heading down there.
He might. Ooh, that's a nice rod.
That's a nice rod.
And so the good news about coming down here is that we don't have to fight a boss to get a reward. We get cool things like fixed dice apparently also down here. But just another dragon. So dragons are not, super dangerous at this point in the seed for our runners. The only downside to coming down to Ancient Castle is the long time it takes to get here, but it's not a cool Esper, but it's an Esper. We'll take it.
Yeah, that's about all you can say about that is it's an Esper. Realm with the fixed dice. Now, at this point, do you go back to Jador on Nani's side and buy that offering?
For Realm and the fixed dice, no. But for that Atma offering combination, yes. Maybe that fixed dice on Realm is it's nice to know that she can wear it for potential Kafka Tower situations. Like if say Ice 3 is the only, the best spell we find throughout the rest of the seed, right? Ice 3 solves a lot of problems, but it doesn't solve problems for Doom and Poltergeist. Fixed dice offering would be a better combination. So I wouldn't say I would go there and slap fixed dice offering on Realm, but I would lean into that Atma offering setup, and then as a backup for Realm, if we run into one of those sticky situations, knowing she can fixed dice offering and pivot to defense ignore damage is a nice setup.
Red Dragon doing a little muddle action on Edgar where he just stops himself. I guess that was nice of him.
Well, Red Dragon is susceptible to muddle, so maybe he's been tired of all of the Worlds Collide runners muddling him, so he wanted to experience it himself first time, a little self-sabotage on the party, so... Ooh, that's an Illumina.
Oh boy, now how does that change your game plan?
It changes everything. I go from feeling sad to feeling happy. If I was physically able, I'd consider doing a cartwheel here. Illumina, fantastic, and we have 2 vanilla default equipment wearers of the Illumina. One of them, which has been sitting on Experience Egg for quite a while, so that Illumina is a very good feel-good weapon to find.
Okay, so with the equipment that we have Atma Weapon, we have Illumina, we have 2 Genji Gloves, we have the Experience Egg. Where are you going to put all that? Where are you thinking?
At the moment, I would consider whichever character. I have had that egg on Nani's side. John will find out the good news here momentarily that there's Illumina behind him dancing around. But on Nani's case, whoever that egg goes on, I would strongly consider Genji Glove, Illumina, Atma weaponing them. Just because that is a mega powerhouse of damage. You have Realm with magic power, and the other 2 characters, you can be content with 2 characters standing there watching and just supporting, maybe clapping, cheering them on. Yeah, because Realm is going to be smashing with Ice 3. Atma offering, or Atma Illumina, whatever direction Nani wants to go, will also be, smashing things in the face. And yeah, but there is no wrong answer. If you wanted to spread that Atma and Illumina around, that's just fine. But yeah, it's good to have choices though.
Yeah, and these runners definitely have their choices. Again, I'm going to issue a formal complaint.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we do have a Tonic A runner. First place Tonic A runner in the room. In fact, we have Papa Shango behind the scenes tracking for us, hosting the restream, and he has also already ran his seed. So, Papa Shango, did you find all of these goodies that Nani and John had found and are enjoying?
I found a lot of them. I did not go to the ancient castle, so I did not get that Illumina.
Okay, so you say you found a lot of them. So, are you telling us that we are in store for other treats as well?
Maybe. I would hate to ruin anything.
Okay, well, little Easter egg is all I'm trying to get there. Nani continuing the monster in a box search, and that is Gigantos, and he is an experience himself.
Yes. And with that egg, he is an egg full of experience. We love to see it.
Why is Giganto so exciting to find when you open up a box and it's him in there? Wouldn't you be scared of him? Doesn't he punch you very hard?
Well, he does punch you very hard, but as you see on Nani's side, he is susceptible to instant death, so he's an easy kill. But not only that, you get tons of experience. He is probably one of the highest, if not the highest, experience giving mob in this game.
Yes, indeed. Um, Genji Glove, Illumina, Atma Whipping there for Nani. They are embracing the Edgar and all Edgar can do. John is working his way on out of Ancient Castle, so little different routing choices, but we're kind of starting to circle back and high five each other. Looks like Nani, we haven't seen Welt get yet, which is a very fast check. So we'll get a little new information here about where we may be going next.
Yes. Okay, so Weltgate. Oh, that's a cyan.
Yeah. And that, speaking of experience, this is an experience, very, very, very experienced Densified alone.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about the martial fight in that, some of them are more scarier than others, such as the ogres and some of the other formations that like to throw stuff at you that accompany martial. But when you get the right one with the right party, and in this case, Tyrannosaur versus this party, this is fantastic. This is a huge boost of experience. Along with that Gigantos we just fought, Nani will be ahead of scaling the entire rest of the seed very comfortably. So while we mentioned earlier Nani, number 128, where they were reliant on dance and other things, now they're going to crush everything in the face and have little resistance through the rest of the seed.
Yeah, and that is going to be a good feeling. Now, the other thing though is if John goes up and does Weltgate, he's going to find that cyan, and he's had that Strago in his party with
Hmm.
Sword Tech, so he might feel good if he happens to see that. But with Owzers coming into play, he might be also putting it off.
I think he'll make his way up there eventually. Weltgate is too fast of a check to pass on. And Cyan, or awful character, great checks. He really opens things up for you. He gives you access to 6 checks, 3 in one spot, and you can honestly work through all of his checks in just under 11, 12 minutes if you were at the power overwhelming spot that Nani is. So John technically a little ahead in progression, had a few things go right for him earlier, but now everything is opened up for Nani based on the experience, based on that Cyan find before John. So I'd imagine it's probably in the realm of possibility that once Nani gets out of here, they chase Dragos checks, and those lead to the requisite number of Espers that they need.
Yeah, either path that these runners take, it's really going to be interesting. They've got a lot open to them.
Yeah. Nani has a level 36 Edgar, and their scaling is at level 20, maybe 21. I think they did do a dragon. Nope, excuse me, that was John who did that. Yeah, so they're level 20. Edgar's level 36. That's a recipe for one-shotting, potentially one-shotting things like Inferno.
Hmm. I'm always glad to see this boss outside of KT. Never like to see him in a lane.
Inferno's cousin, number 128, the other side of the screen. Gonna be a fast fight for John with that Illumina. It's a fortunate proc, but so as we mentioned, Nani working through Inferno very fastly, very quickly, very nice.
Yeah, that is something you love to see. Get that thing off the screen as fast as possible.
Ooh, I think that Fire 2 saved John. He had Ice 3 queued up, and maybe he wasn't sure number 128 was Warp Ice or not, but fortunate that Fire 2 gets it done for him. He is through Owzers himself. He will get his Esper as well. He didn't check that relic shop on his way up. Let's see if he checks it on the way down and gets the good news about that offering.
Yeah, and that'll be I mean, he hasn't been checking those monsters and boxes, so that might be a little bit of a relief for him if he has that in the back of his head.
And ooh, we
Ooh, here we
gonna find the
go.
good news. Let's ooh, yeah. Oh no.
But he's gonna pass.
Maybe he doesn't have the money for it right now, but it's good to know it's there. Maybe reconsidering. You ever go on the Best Buy and you see a TV on sale so good that you walk past it and you walk back to it? I think that's what John just did there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah,
exactly what went through his head, and he's gonna sell the
yeah.
farm for this offering.
Yeah, I think as he was walking through, he pulled up his Bank of America app and realized that, hey, I do have enough money for this. Maybe my Capital One, the line of credit just increased, so get in there and figure it out.
Or again, we're at that time of the year. Maybe this is just him saying, you know what, I deserve a Christmas present.
Yeah. All right, ooh, go down, John. The stunner, the stunner. The stunner will get you there.
No, don't sell the elixir, sell the stunner.
Yeah. All right, sell the tent. All right, we're there. All right.
All right, Nani Gray is gonna be checking Zozo. I hear this is a great town, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the people here. Great. If you have some last minute Christmas shopping, I would strongly suggest you do it in Zozo. Fantastic goods, fantastic people. Leave your wallet with them and they'll guard it for you. Guaranteed.
And they'll always tell you the correct time.
So I guess Nani is continuing that kind of that search of Espers and going back to their characters, beginning characters and their various checks. But we are kind of getting to that point to where we are down to Elite River and Mobilus with Terra as far as the last opening character check. So I think after this Zozo check from Nani, that is when we will start to dip our toes into the Cyan checks.
Yeah, that's what I would do at this point. Especially on the off chance, if they happen to get an Esper here, and on the off chance that Doma Dream is perhaps triple Esper, that's unlock.
So bad news, it's Poltergeist, but bad news for Poltergeist. Nani ain't messing around this afternoon. That Edgar alone is almost level 40. We're breaking a Pearl Rod for the time save. It's going to do a lot of damage. 9999 in fact, and yeah, can't even damage Realm with the counterattack because of the Flame Shield, so very well positioned to have a fast as Poltergeist fight as you could.
That is a very sad spicy chicken at that point.
Opera Dragon for John, little Gold Dragon experience. Gold Dragon is similar to the Blue Dragon, is you don't want to see him early. When you see him later, they're not much of a big deal, and John very comfortably takes care of the Gold Dragon. Very well done. Poltergeist down. We are rocking and rolling now.
Yeah, I would say that was not so much a spicy chicken, but a very mild chicken.
Yeah, like maybe if you're looking at like a Tad Pie restaurant and you got the little heat index for the number of peppers. I think that was like maybe a half pepper, not even a full pepper on a scale of 1 to 7 or so.
That's the kind of spicy I like.
Ooh, 20,000 in the chest. That's kind of fun and offering potentially for Nani in the future.
If they go back for it.
Ooh, and that is Merton on the Esper. So we've seen an egg, we've seen a Sortex Drago, we've seen various stat boosting Espers. We've seen an Illumina, we've seen an Atma weapon, we've seen an offering, we've seen ice shields on discount. We've seen every element of rods. What haven't we seen that is not in the seed? My goodness.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen an Ultima spell for the big blue bubbles. We haven't seen any Strength +2 Espers, which is unfortunate. But honestly, this seed is just giving and giving.
We found fixed ice as well. I guess we don't have any Ragnaroks or BKs. Our poor runners this afternoon. Really scumming it up out there. But no. Yeah, unfortunately, Nani doesn't have access to the warp seal, so they have to walk down. John getting the good news that these Tyrannosaurs were hanging out in this cave, and they're going to give a bunch of experience to John as well. Really fortunate for Nani. Maybe they've done this walk in the middle again before or in the randomizer, but that crane is how you bypass the Congo line. And I've seen it, catch a few runners by surprise. That's what it's there for, and that's what it's done. So very fortunate that Nani knew that there.
Yeah, saves you a little bit of time for sure. All right, so John gets his Cyan. Is he gonna take him to Doma Dream now?
Let's see. They're passing on Kefka and Arsh. Yeah, Nani with their 20k GP they just found. Looks like they're heading on back for that offering. Maybe an auction house visit. Maybe write a bad Yelp review about this shop and the guy outside that won't get out the way.
They need to put out a no soliciting sign. No loitering.
Oh, nope, just some sleeping bags. And Nani did find the warp stones, but unfortunately after the fact. But nope, with those warp stones now, you can go on up and do the other part of the Zozo check with Cyan now in tow.
That poor Doma Dream. It's feeling lonely right now.
Alright, so John is going on up to his spicy chicken fight. Should give him no trouble as well. So we have power overwhelming. The seed has been very generous, along with our runners knowing what to do with it. So we're at that point now where we're just at an Esper hunt. 6 on both sides of the screen for both runners. So, Joy, you mentioned Doma Dream. You mentioned we have science checks that we have not unearthed yet. If you were in either of these runner situations, where would you be going now to uncover those last few Espers?
Oh, I would definitely go to Dream. Just the fact that there's 3 potential ways to get Espers and progression in there, that's where I'm going. It's just too lucrative of a check that doesn't really take that long of a time.
Yeah, most definitely. Also, you could potentially put yourself in a corner where, like, say you find, 2 Espers, and then you're down to things like Burning House, or Fanatic's Tower, and Fanatic's Tower, let's say, turns out to be a character. You can back yourself into a corner to where you have to do Doma Dream to either A, fade having to do something like Burning House, or B, having to do Doma Dream for one character, or excuse me, one Esper. But there's actually 3 Espers there, so it's better to do it earlier when you get to this type of search, so that way you can take what's there or isn't there and allow that to inform the rest of your decisions.
Yeah. Now, even if John did go to Doma Dream and it was a character, that would put him at 8 characters, which is 1 away from a character skip. So either way, on either side, I don't think it would hurt our runners at all.
Oh wow. Illumina, finally some offense in this seed. No, that Illumina Genji Club is my personal favorite setup, and I heard Illuminas do good things, and so maybe Yanni will take advantage of that. And that's Go-Go hanging out on top of the mountain.
Ooh, that is not what they wanted to see.
Not at all, but again, we still have a few more checks from Cyan we can work through before we start making some difficult decisions. And John has Esper number 7. A few more to go for John.
And he finds that Merton, and it's going straight on.
Nani's gonna warp out, interested to see where Nani goes next. John will also warp out and make a similar decision. Where do we keep going for some Espers?
Alright, let's see. Are they going to both go to the same place?
Oop, Nani's got that in line, and Doma Dream for Nani. John's gonna find out the bad news. Well, the good news, bad news, that he gets another Illumina, but he gets a Go-Go. But that does put John at 8 characters. Because remember, Nani doesn't have the Amaro from Serpent's Strength from earlier.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword there.
So I would say after this, John is. I could be wrong, and I've been wrong once or twice in the past, but I think it's strongly likely that John, when he gets Go-Go here, heads to Doma Dream next. So interesting to see here on Nani's side what's in store for him when he gets there, because if this is a character sprite running across the top of the train, that means John will probably get character number 9 and get skip, whereas Nani will not. So while Nani may be in here first, getting some Espers, that's going to potentially allow John to bypass a lot of walking Nani will have to do.
Yes. John's gonna get his good news for that second Illumina.
Alright, so number 24 tried their best. They hit an overflow on Realm. They're going to try their best again, but this overflow is just blocked. Fortunate for John that only one character got frozen there and not multiple, if not the whole party. So good feeling there. Nani is through number 24. They've survived the multiple muddle attempts. They are fine. They are rocking and rolling.
Yeah, so there's really nothing out there that can give these runners any trouble at this point, unless they just get a really unlucky math check from Doom Days.
Yeah, and that's another Illumina in Dome of Dreams. That's 3 Illuminas that are out in the wild. The good news for Nani, that's an Esper. We'll take that Esper. But yeah, as you mentioned, Illuminas are great for 95% of the fights in Final Fantasy VI. You know, you can't swing an Illumina if you die to level 5 Doom. And you also can't use an Illumina on Magimaster. But everything else it's great for. So there's very little that will stand between our runners and successfully completing the seed, except for the RNG impact of their decisions and does an Esper live there or not. Nani's going to walk out of here with at least 7 Espers. John is at 7 Espers with some choices ahead to go. So still very much up in the air with the power discrepancies and the route discrepancies so far.
Just out of curiosity, do you know about how many checks Nani is at right now? After Dome of Dream?
Let me pull up their... Okay, so no matter what, Nani ends up at 18 checks. Yeah. So it looks like John is peaking what's at Mobliz. And no matter what, John ends up at 20 checks. So John, one way or another, will end up with Skip, most likely. Still fading Dome of Dream, so for Nani's sake, let's hope the back half of the stream isn't Esper. If not, and yeah, that's Esper number 8 there for John at Mobliz. So for Nani's sake, let's hope this back half is an Esper to keep the race within her sights.
Well, I'm definitely going to keep my fingers crossed. And, yeah, we saw Phoenix at Mobliz, like you said. Wonder what we're going to get as the boss on the second half of the Mobliz check.
This could be I know we got pretty strong power, but with 2 characters in the wrong fight here, this could be a difficult fight. Ghost Train at the end of Dome of Dream, that's the opposite of a difficult fight, as Edgar is displaying for us on screen. So Nani now at 7 Espers, again hoping for 8 once they check the throne.
I just want to point out that there was no blitzing of the train.
There was not. Nani's not playing around today. No shame in that. They came here. You know, this is a business trip, not a personal trip. This afternoon.
Oh.
It's just the leader.
It's just
leader.
How many points are we going to deduct if John does not go pet the dog, though?
I will order Papa Shango to cut the stream, ban him from the Discord, and we will wipe him off of the Ultros League website. So just minimal amount of punishment for doing so.
Okay, well, there's another bonus on your paycheck, by the way.
And oh no.
No.
All right, Papa, cut the stream. Let me PM some of the admins in private about what we need to do behind the scenes to erase John from history.
Alright, so unfortunately, Nani only found another offering at the end of Dream. So they are still looking for 2 Espers.
Yeah, the good news is that common peekable check is there will be an Esper, but outside of that, yeah, okay, well that's good news for Nani that there's an Esper here, and there's one more just a little to the east in Mobliz. So Nani is on a path now where they will get all of their Espers, but the bad news is that John just found that same path, so he's saying, hey, you know what, I'll take a 9th Esper along with some more checks to get my unlock.
Yeah, so if John was at 18 checks before Mobley's, that'll put him at 19. This counts as 3 checks if he does the dragon. That puts him at 21. Do you think he'll go for a check skip?
Most definitely. You get the nice thing about fanatics is that you get to see the reward. You know for sure what you're going to get or not get. You also get 3 checks bundled nicely into one. The bad news is it's a stupidly tall tower. Like I don't understand like how they built or designed this. Like there's just this random room with nothing. There's no furniture. I'm not sure if like the furniture never got delivered. What's going on? It's just stairs and then random rooms placed throughout the tower, and then even a hidden room. Absolute awful architecture, awful design. So, other than that though, great check.
Yeah. Now, John's showing some really good game knowledge here, berserking his Edgar so that he can get past that magic only requirement.
Yep, that's a nice heads up play. Does Edgar have the Illumina? Because that's pretty fortunate that Berserk connects on turn one with the Illumina, but nope, it's offerings.
Offering Atma. You know, going back to the architecture of this tower, have you seen how fast that wind is blowing behind it? This thing would be rocking like crazy.
Yeah, so like as you notice, it's also not very wide. It's like 12 steps uh, per level, so you know it's like very tall, very narrow. Somehow a big room, excuse me, medium-sized room gets squeezed in. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but you know what? Going back to the Air Force that randomly exists in the air in the Empire's arsenal when it's needed. Not a lot of things make sense in the world of Final Fantasy 6, I guess.
Yeah, we're just not going to question too much.
All right, so pivotal insight from FA. I've seen the Fat Boy ice cream sandwiches and HEB. I probably haven't bought anything that wasn't an ice cream or just regular ice cream in quite a while, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you compare it to like a Bluebell ice cream sandwich or something, FA?
These are the important questions that we have to ask.
Yeah, well, we got Sync, kept the tower fights going. That's cool and all, but I'd been wondering that because I really like simple marketing and those Fat Boy like the blue and white box just has the logo. It speaks to me. Um, Ultros number 2 at top of Fanatics Tower. Pretty fortunate, pretty easy fight. Honestly, may not even have to berserk for this one. Just cast some fire 2, cast some ice 3, and rear through.
And some bold 3. You know what? I bet Ultros was like a fat boy.
I bet he would. On a scale of 1 to 10, they are ranked as a 15. So let me go update my shopping cart real fast. Wyatt, you got this while I take care of the important stuff.
Absolutely, because we're just going to see that Merton shine. We are almost in sync on that Ultros kill too. So these runners are going to be going down the tower at the same time. The only difference is one of them is going to get their unlock and the other one is still hunting one Esper.
Yep. Okay, so flawless execution by Nani on the stairs so far. No slip up. John has had a couple missteps, but Nani is really putting on display perfection here. No slip ups on the way down, none on the way up. They just got one more floor or one more scene to make their way through. Can they do it? I don't think I've ever seen a Fanatics Tower executed this flawlessly, or if I have, it's been a very long time.
Okay, I would like to put in that if this is actually a flawless Fanatics Tower climb and descent, we need to have an award for this in the Golden Golems that's coming up.
And Nani completes it. Hold up your perfect 10s if you got them. I will say a 10 for Nani, and we'll give that John an 8.7 for his few slip ups.
You know what? I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna go with a 9.
With a 9, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
Mainly
with
because he got to skip with that.
with a few with that flawless setup, Nani Gibbs does have one more check to do, but they carve out a few milliseconds with those flawless steps. So let's see if they head on mobile list. They'll be able to get the Phoenix Esper as well, and they'll be on their way to the tower. But John, level 50 character. Everyone else north of 40. All this offense, all this amazing everything. How can John slip up here for Nani to catch them?
Well, a lot of it's going to depend on what is at their statues. Now that they've had to split their party, it's not going to be like going in with guns blazing all 4 characters. So depending on what their levels are, if they run into Doomgaze, that could be an issue. It could also be an issue if, say, they run into something that is immune to Merton on their realm side, or something. You know, there's a lot of things out there that could hurt, that could happen.
All right, so this is one of the things that can go Nani's way, a Doomgaze in the right spot, but John passes the math test, so this is not going to be a time loss for him. It's just going to be another roadblock that he crushes. All right, leader is going to be not long for this world. Neither is this Doomgaze. I like this from John. I know double Lunas are nice, but go ahead and crack the Pearl Rod, get to 999. Just use everything in your disposable that will save time at any point in time.
Yeah, because as they say, you can't really take it with you, so once you get to Final Kefka, if you don't blow it now, you're going to blow it then.
If we get a proc on this turn, I think that's going to do it for... nope. I think one more Luminous Swing, proc or not, is going to do it for John here. Oh, there's the proc here. They do exist.
That is a dead Doomgaze. Alright, so Glue, what are you wanting to see in that middle lane?
I know we already fought Poltergeist, but if we could somehow resurrect him and throw him back in there, I would appreciate that. John's middle lane is probably going to be his Edgar with his Admiral Offering, so unfortunately that won't pose much of a danger to him. So something that potentially would be something like Air Force. Sometimes Air Force is one of those things that where if you as a person control the script or control his actions, he would be the scariest boss, most dangerous boss in the game. But because you can't, so you're subject to RNG. But if that RNG goes in Air Force's favor, as opposed to John's, not a lot you can do about it.
Unfortunately, this goes in John's favor.
Yeah, this is this Grand Train will only tickle. I know Grand Train looks scary, but Data Luma does not have a magic stat. It's actually probably negative magic, honestly. But one shot from Edgar, he's going on about his business.
Oh, poor Data Luma. He tried so hard.
Okay, so John's moving on up in the world. Nani did the Gold Dragon. I think that's going to be check number 22 for Nani. We'll see here in just a moment.
Now, with Final Kefka being the great equalizer, this does not necessarily mean that John's got this in the bag. Anything could happen in that final fight.
Yeah, most definitely. One of the things about the final fight is that the longer it goes for John, that's Nani's opportunity to catch up here, because offering Atma Weapon is a recipe for a dead goddess, and that's what John is cooking with here. So what Nani needs is John to slip up on tier 2 or 3, which is going to be really hard for him to do, but it's not out of the realm of possibility, because John has great offense, he has great levels, he has great defense, but you know, Northern Cross, Medio at the worst time, if you maybe miscount. Some things can go wrong even when you have power overwhelming.
Yeah. Rando is gonna rando, and RNG can get you at the most inconvenient times.
So this should be Doomgaze for Nani. I think I peaked a level 52 Edgar, so they will not be level 5 Doom, or at least they will be level 5 Doom, but they won't impact them.
And if I remember right, on Nani's side, Terra has the double Illumina, so fighting Goddess with that could be a little dicey.
Especially if Love Token and or Pearl Rocks happen at the wrong time. Nani making quick work of that Doom Gaze. They are through one statue, while John has one statue himself left. It is Senior Behemoth.
Yeah, this is not going to pose any threat at all.
Nope. Sorry, Go-Go. You're standing between us and Merton, so you gotta go. Oh my goodness. I stand corrected. Go-Go was not messing around today. He came prepared.
Yeah, I think John was thinking a little bit more ahead than we were.
No. Kudos to John. He's protecting that Go-Go there. I would have let him burn.
Well, that's because you're on Team Yeti and not Team Go-Go. We know this.
Or you could be on team both.
We'll have a talk later.
Right. So
That was unfortunate. That Merton did not hit because it was targeted before it switched over, correct?
yeah, so just a few seconds there gone for John. Small, but not the exact same Nani needs, but Nani will take anything at this point in time. This is the Data Luma fight. This is perfect for the Lumina setup that John has going on here. Looks like he also has Gao with this terror, so if he does, get some Love Token action going on, he at least has another character that can work around it a little bit.
Yes.
Alright, John is through Senior Behemoth. All that stands between him and Destiny is 4 tiers of the Kefka fight. Nani is cooking that Data Luma. So, fun little game we like to play. Muggles and Yamaros in chat. Is how long will the final Kefka fight take for our first runner to get there? This afternoon it's going to be John. And just for your guesses in chat, just for a little information for those who have not played before. On average, I would say 10 minutes is a good estimation for a Kefka fight. But John in this situation has very powerful offense, very powerful defense. Anything and everything you would honestly want. So with that in mind, with that said, I'm going to predict a 7-minute on the dot Kefka fight.
Alright, I'm going to go with a 7:53.
Alright, 7:53. Get your guesses in chat if you would like to play along. The person who we do this Price is Right style, so the person who gets closest without going over, maybe person who gets closest without going over is declared the winner. And we start the time at the church bell for the final fight, and we end it at the crack pow of tier 4.
There's a lot of spicy guesses in here going 1 second over a previous guess.
Yeah. Alright, so Nani is through the goddess fight. One more statue fight to go, so John will be starting this fight up 2-ish minutes before Nani does, plus some menuing time. So Nani has made up a little bit of ground, I would say. So they may not even need John to totally wipe if they have any hopes to catching up. Northern Cross or just a couple Goner charges alone or some various other things may be enough for Nani to catch up. So let's see how John handles this.
Well, I think I saw him queuing up an Ice Shield break for Face.
I like it.
Or not an Ice Shield break, a Fire Shield break. My apologies.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, with some of the magic power some of his characters going to have, if he cracks his shield here with that realm, for example, that's 999 across the board. So I'm a believer of what's the point of saving that 993, 9999 for one guy in tier 4 when you can use it and have it hit 3 or 4 times.
Well, it looks like he was going to do that, but I think he decided not to. And yeah, that break worked first time. That is some great luck right there.
Yeah, really fortunate. And Oh my god, that's a 7. Oh my goodness, that's a 7,000 damage I swing Edgar. You don't get much better than that in Ultros League.
Chat pointing out that John was just putting his fire shield or flame shield back on for Merton protection.
No. So I'm still flabbergasted that that Edgar is doing 7,000 damage. Fortunately, on the left side of your screen, Nani was put to sleep by Senior Behemoth. Senior Behemoth, usually most Senior Behemoths don't take this long, but his second half of this phase, that's really what he does. Is he just does tickle attacks, and he puts characters to sleep. So it could be really trolly if you get him in a 1v1 scenario and you can't take him down in 1 or 2 runes.
John pulling out his mute for magic and a little true edge here for the instant kill on tools, which he gets.
Nice. It connects. Yeah, this would be a great time to crack a shield here, but he's gonna let his Merton take care of it. Yeah, let's see how much this Merton does. I think it's going to do 9/9 on everybody.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I apologize. Shield not required.
No, I'm pretty sure John's had a +1 magic Esper on Realm this whole time, so that Merton is pretty powerful.
Alright, he is far enough along in the fight that he is unleashing the Edgar. Out comes 10 hits, but honestly, who cares? This is just going to tickle. We're in really no danger here. So the rest of the dangers that are ahead are going to have to be on tier 3 and tier 4 for John.
Right, and now just magic left.
Alright, so this will wrap up John Brookhead's tier 2. He's going to eat a quarter. Connects on Edgar, which is unfortunate, but I think he'll be fine because if we're casting Merton and we're protected from it, that means we're protected from the Merton that may possibly come out on us on this next turn.
Yes. There is no danger of any type of attack hitting John at all.
So
Except for W Wind. That would not be fun.
if you're unfamiliar with how tier 3 of Funnel Kefka works, the little head in the back, she can only heal or put characters to sleep or revive. The front guy, he will alternate between AoE attacks, single target attacks. But with that AoE attack that can actually damage you, that isn't fractional damage, is Merton. And again, if we can Merton ourselves, that means we can Merton you. So until we reach the medial phase, this part actually cannot kill us with a wipe, unless we sit there and let it. So John is very comfortably in a fantastic spot. One more Edgar swing, and this tier will go down.
Here's Gollum coming out. Yep.
As we mentioned about 40 minutes ago, this is where Gollum was important. How is he doing 8,000? Oh my goodness.
I don't. Well, he probably had that experience egg on Edgar almost the whole time. And I'm guessing maybe an Atlas Armlet or some kind of relic that's really boosting that damage.
We need to performance enhancing drug test that Edgar, because that is a absolutely loaded Edgar.
I agree.
All right, so tier 4. Here's how John wins this fight. He presses X, A, waits 5 seconds, then presses X and A, and this fight is over. Let's see if John follows that routing.
I'm pretty sure with the heads-up play he's been making, I'm pretty sure that that's going to happen.
I actually have an Xbox controller Golden Shocker, so for me it's X. For you it might be Y, but... Alright, so John didn't get the memo. He's gonna, show off those Illuminas he has. That's okay. Tier 4 Kefka, you gave it your best effort, but you flew down into to something, I tell you what, and that is Connor. Um, John is about to put a bow on this Christmas present for himself.
You might as well, should probably get your GGs in chat because, yep, there it is.
GG's indeed. 1:16:38 is his official time in the race room. But boy, it sure did not feel that long. That was blazing fast, as you could hope for a final Kepka fight.
Yes, so this means that John will take second in his pod and move up to potion. Oh, Papa Shango, you've got it in for you.
Right, so we are now joined by John Brickhead. John, tremendous display of overwhelming power on that final Kepka fight. GG's, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the amazing performance. You were really toughing it out there. Not a lot of offense to be found, but you're able to muster it up anyways. How did you do so, my friend?
Uh, I watch a lot. I watch a lot of runners and I ask a lot of questions. And Worlds Collide is pretty new to me. My first love, my baby is free enterprise. And I think one thing that kind of translates from one randomizer to another is just find your power and go. So once you kind of have enough to try to get through, whatever means it might be. So the dances were pretty good. So kind of lean on that, but I don't like having autonomy and agency over my power. Anytime you see Realm, you think magic, and off you go. And so you get some tier 2 spells in there to kind of go through until the next thing pops along. And I feel like I changed my tactic like 8 times in between. We got an early strength Esper, and Strago of all people had sword tech, and it's like, well, we found this early enough, so let's put the egg on Strago and let's go ahead and build him up. And then I saw the half price ice shields, so like, maybe we're gonna go ahead and do that and cheese that a little bit. If we find Go-Go, maybe we'll mimic them. Then we found the Atma weapon. We had a Genji glove. It was just a matter of like trying to figure out, what can I lean on as much as possible to go ahead and fight through as quickly as possible. And then once we saw the offering for sale for the nice cheap price of max price, I knew I had my 3 lanes. I knew I could either do magic or an Illumina with Terra, and I knew I could Genji it up, or offering it up with Edgar, and then Merton was great because we had Merton protection already. Even with the Genji glove on Terra, we had the Minerva, so that was pretty sweet. So it was just a matter of, as efficiently as possible, finding whatever power you can kind of lean into, and then using it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have a couple of questions for you, just to get inside your brain.
It's scary in there.
Well, yeah, I understand. We play randos. So finding that early Atma weapon, you faded all of the monsters and boxes. You did not search for an offering there. What was your mindset behind that?
I didn't know if I don't know if the juice is ever worth the squeeze. I didn't know if that was going to be. I did have a strength Esper very quickly, and then I think we found Illumina at some point, and I was not. I wasn't going to use the Abbott weapon. We had. I feel like we found the Illumina pretty quickly, and I was going to lean into, and with 2 magic Espers, I was like, all right, so for my 2 lanes, I'll have Terra and Realm use magic, and then I'll have Edgar swing, and then Sword Tech strength, and that's where we're going to go. So since that's the decision I kind of made, it was like, well, we don't need to spend time with monsters and boxes, and we'll be fine. And I took 5 dragons, so in terms of like XP, I didn't really need it, and I didn't really need the magic points. So I just didn't look for them.
Hey, fair enough. So my second question is, you chose to keep Strago in your party with Sword Tech, but you never did Doma Dream. What was your mindset behind that?
It's a long check. That's a good point. Well, I had the egg on I had the egg on Strago for a while, so I knew he was going to go ahead and get the Sword Tech 7. By the time I found Cyan, I was looking for like 1 Esper or maybe 2. I didn't want to go through the whole thing for for if I didn't find an Esper at all. And when with Fanatics, I was able to go ahead and number 1 do the dragon to go ahead and make sure that Realm learned Merton. And number two, it's guaranteed. It's 3 checks, so it was going to go ahead and going to get me skip. Um, so I didn't really need cleave. I had break and I had Raiden, and there was so much power in there anyway. I think I learned stop, and even then I could have done a stunner to go ahead and stop tools. Um, so if I had found sign earlier, yes, we would have hopped on that very quickly. But to be honest with you, I actually completely forgot about the fact that we would have gotten sword tech. But even if I'd remembered, I don't think I would have done it just because it was so late in the seed. I just wanted to go.
Sure, sure. Well, it obviously worked out for you. So, hey, this was just me getting inside your brain. Glue, you got anything?
No, very impressive performance, John. GG's all around. I think having good times is a combination of A, the seed, B, very giving, which the seed was, and then B, being aggressive with all that goodies that you were cutting. And the seed gave you A, and then you turned around and gave the seed B, and that allowed you to produce the win today this afternoon. So, GG's, congratulations. Um, before we let you go, John, is there anything else you got coming up inside our community, outsider community that you would like to talk about or give a plug to?
No, not off the top of my head. Uh, this has been nice to go ahead and dive into a different randomizer, and everyone's just been so nice. It's been incredible meeting new people. Papa Shango, who just dominated our group, was very generous with his knowledge and very kind and patient and giving. Um, so it's just very nice to be welcomed into another group. I know that there are some plans in the works for what might be for the future of Free Enterprise specifically, so I'm excited about that. But it's just been fun to play this, and I have no idea what I'm going to be doing next. But it's just been wonderful learning a new rando and getting to interact with just wonderful new kind people.
Yeah, no, it's been a joy to meet you, John. Was finally gave you a follow today, but I've been lurking and hanging out your channel a little bit. You've been a joy to watch. It's been a joy to have you. And again, GG's, congratulations on your promotion to a potion going forward. And yeah, we'll be seeing a lot of you, I think.
All right, thanks so much, GG's, and of course GG's to Nani. Thank you for restreaming and for comms and for all the things. And I'm looking forward to watching this back.
All right,
All right, great.
All right,
we'll
y'all
see
take
ya.
care. All right, bye bye.
And we're also going to squeeze Nani in here for an interview as well. Nani, can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I can hear you.
All right, Nani, GG's on your finish. 121.58 was your official time. The seed gave you quite a bit of power there, but unfortunately didn't give you all the espers that you may have wanted in a timely fashion. What were some of the routing decisions you were making in some of those espers hunts?
Uh, well, there at the end, I was absolutely prioritizing the peekable checks. I probably wouldn't have gone all the way up fanatics, if not for that. I wouldn't have gone to mobiles if it wasn't for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very strongly considering going to my next destination was definitely going to be Doma Siege if mobiles didn't pan out. But early on, I kind of got myself a little bit lost. Not gonna lie. Like I didn't know where I wanted to go because I didn't have any good checks, but they're in the mid game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did see you kind of circling back through your starting characters checks. I assumed it was because you were looking for more espers. Was that because you were just trying to duck Stragos checks?
Little column A, little column B.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. So, what would you say, Nani? For those of you who are not familiar with Nani, they were the runner-up in our Smuggle Cup #2 event previously. So they have been learning, picking up Worlds Collide pretty fast. They are a great source of knowledge and a fantastic watch. So, Nani, what would you say has been your approach through these 8 grueling weeks of Ultros League that you have just now gone through?
uh, in all honesty, I don't think I really have any particular plan of action. I've I've just always been going with the flow, so to speak. As we can see, it did kind of bite me this week. But yeah, it's not not really a whole lot to say on the matter. Check my starting characters, check my starting abilities, and see where it takes me.
Now, that's one of the things I love about Worlds Collide is eventually you'll play enough seeds where that maybe some of those unique scenarios come across. But generally speaking, no 2 seeds are the exact same. They all play a little bit different. Dwaya, do you have any questions for Anani you'd like to throw out to them?
No, you kind of covered a lot of them that I had. Just, I have to ask, how did you feel whenever that seed just gave you all the power you could ever want?
Uh, well, when I saw that third Illumina, I was thinking, oh my good gravy, stop it!
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah, but then again, that was around the time where I was starting to get really desperate for Espers, so. But, yeah. But,
Okay.
All right, Nani, thank you. We're very appreciative of you doing your weekend run on Restream for us. John as well. So Nani, before we let you go, do you have anything coming up on maybe on your own channel or another game or insider community or outside community that you'd like to give a plug or a shout out to?
uh, well, I've kind of been, well, the holidays have kind of completely eaten my, all of my, offline, all of my projects, so to speak. But,
Mhm.
normally on my own stream, I usually do, some casual speed running, challenge runs. One of these days I'm gonna get back into the Battle Network thing I've been doing lately, Mega
Oh,
Man Battle Network. So
very nice. Yeah.
yeah.
GG's again, Nani. Again, thank you. Congratulations. I think you're taking third place now in your pod. You guarantee third place, which is no small feat with all the talented runners out there. So again, GG's, and thank you again for coming on this afternoon with us.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you so much. You guys put on a great show, and I really look forward to watching you again in the future.
All right.
All right, so that is Nani Gray versus John Burkhead. As we mentioned for the official stakeout, Papa Shango had locked up the top spot. Nani and John were competing this afternoon for the number 2 spot. GG's to both of them. John is moving on with Papa. Nani, if you're unfamiliar with how it works, you're not guaranteed. You're guaranteed to move on with number 1 and number 2, but there's still a small chance depending on who signs up next season if you do or don't. So up in the air if Nani can squeeze in there or not. But GG's again to everybody involved in the Tonic A bracket. Wea, before we sign off, would you like to give a shout out to anything you have coming up in your stream or in the various other communities or whatnot?
I don't have anything going right now. I'm looking forward to continuing with like the Troupon Championship and any kind of just off-season event that we have coming up.
Yeah. Well, as someone, one of the admins love to say, I can guarantee you and promise you right now, Dwayne, that there will be an announcement in the near future. What that announcement is, who knows, but guarantee that there will be one. So yeah, I want to give a personal thank you for Papa Shango for A, organizing this afternoon's race and then B, restreaming and tracking for us. Papa, we appreciate you very much so for doing so. With that, we do have another race this evening. Let me pull up. I forgot the top of my head who it was exactly. It is Tonic D, yeah. So we got some of the Tonic D runners going on for us tonight. I think it was going to be 4 of them, so it won't be a head-to-head. It will be a full-way race. And if you're unfamiliar with what's going on at Tonic D, everything is up for grabs. So a lot on the line tonight for that pod for those runners. So it's going to be a good one. That is at 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Probably going to be on our community Twitch channel. So be sure to check that out. And yeah, so I will leave you all with that. We hope you all have a wonderful afternoon.
Yes, and coming up, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I don't talk to you sooner.